Look, the Chicago Bears, they didn't see this coming. Maybe it's me. I didn't see this coming. But the old Chicago Bears, they would have swung big for a huge name free agent in this free agency period. Trey Hendrickson for a boatload of picks and treasure, but they just really hit it out of the park at the start of this free agency period. And what's really nice is the way that the Bears really dovetailed free agency with the NFL draft. It's really unique, something we haven't seen in a very long time. So let's just take a breath. Let's kind of go through that. And it's not just about providing draft flexibility. This isn't just a free agency recap. This build is looking like something completely different. But I am going to highlight the situation on Drew Dalman and Grady Jarrett and how this likely surprised the heck out of the Bears front office for this to go so perfectly. A little bit of luck is involved, I think. But you get Drew Dalman accepting less money to go to the Bears. We are his choice. We didn't have to reset the market either. Very soon this will look like a bargain, but this comes right after Grady Jarrett is released by the Falcons to provide some cap space for Drew Dalman, maybe a last Hail Mary attempt to keep him on the team. Guess what, Falcons? It did not work. The surprise availability to Garrett, he was the heart of the defense. I was shocked that they allowed him to leave the team. Within a few hours of free agency, the Bears found themselves with both players. Just a fantastic job by GM Ryan Poles. And Garrett being available for the interior of this line, that just put a finishing touch on the trench work the Bears have leaned into. It's kind of a luxury pick, and the Bears have now added quality veteran leadership at all the trouble spots. And now up and down the roster, there are quality starters, not really a glaring weakness. So now every single draft pick can now have the luxury, too, of not having to shoulder the whole load, not play hero ball, and be able to develop these players the right way. I mean, sure, we paid out a ton of money, but by the time these contracts might need to be offloaded, top-tier talent can be waiting in the wings to just slide right in. It's now a functional organization. And I know it's crazy, but I can't remember seeing a functional organization that replenishes itself in a very long time as a Chicago Bears fan. And I've been a fan for over 40 years. Not to mention this, the Bears are also keeping really good cap flexibility. Dalman, Jarrett, Dayo, not to mention acquisitions Jonah Jackson and Joe Thuney. These are essentially 2-year deals with a third-year option due to their structure. Chicago will never be backed into a corner here. And I'm counting Thuney in this because it's expected the Bears are going to extend him past his 1 year once the smoke clears. This will also improve cap space even this year. And just look for the example that newfound depth on the offensive line gives you. I'm going to give you this visual. This is really kind of eye-opening. Youth can develop here. So remember this. This is before the draft, so more to come. If you kind of look at the defense first, and let me get my face out of the way. There we go. You're looking at Billings. We're relying on him to be the absolute anchor here, right? Absolutely relying on this. Our team fell apart without him. But he's on the last year of his 2-year deal at a reasonable number, $3.32 million. He's coming off a torn pec. And the Bears also have now third-year pro Zach Pickens and Chris Williams. Chris Williams had a career year last season. But could one of those three players be a potential trade chip or a cut after the Jarrett addition? Man, I can't talk for a second. Could one of these players be a potential trade chip or possibly a player that will be cut after this Jarrett addition? Because this just changes everything. Now we have these players that we used to be relying on. Now they are depth. Now they're not counted on. We can have these players come in waves during games and have guys come in fresh to support the run, fresh to rush the passer. This is just something that I've never seen on this team before. We're usually top heavy, and if someone gets hurt, the season's ruined. I don't think the Bears have had this type of depth on their defensive line in my memory. They should take advantage of being able to come at teams in waves once again. So while Pickens, he was a disappointment last year. He battled injuries, But could this guy absolutely flourish in Dennis Allen's system because of his size and athleticism? Defensive end Austin Booker, he also has potential, but now Allen has so much flexibility with what he can do on the defensive line. With Dayo, now Austin Booker can come in pass rush situations and actually develop into a really good player. This is exciting stuff. And at this point in his career, Jarrett, he turns 32 in April. He's not the pass rushing threat he was when he racked up 6 sacks in 17 quarterback hits. I think that was back in 2022. He can step in as a starting defensive tackle next to penetrator Gervon Dexter on the defensive line, and he can slot in between Dayo and Montez Sweat. The Bears have Andrew Billings, too, who can rotate in on the interior. This is a completely revamped and deep defensive line. I put the offensive line up there if you want to take a gander at that. The opportunity that we have to be competitive right now, be dominant right now, and also develop this young talent. And this is before we've even used our draft picks. This is absolutely amazing. And Bears defensive coordinator Dennis Allen, he should have some familiarity with particularly Jarrett. He was in the NFC South all those years. He played against him many, many times. And Jarrett's presence is going to make things so difficult for opposing offenses as they work to adjust protection. And the Bears haven't provided this threat on the D-line in recent seasons since I can remember. You guys, I am so excited. This is such a good move. This is such a good situation to be in. And let's talk about Odeyingbo. Let's talk about Odeyingbo. Sorry, this is going to take me a while to pronounce his name properly. I'm just going to call him Dayo. Bears defensive coordinator. He slips in exactly what Dennis Allen likes to do. His production did dip from 8 sacks in 03 to 3 in 04, but his playing time actually increased from 622 snaps to 745 snaps. He's only 25. He responded with 17 quarterback hits over the last 2 years, 2 forced fumbles each of the last 2 seasons, and he played in every single game. The kid is durable. I'm old enough that I can call him a kid. I hope that's okay. But from the Bears' perspective, and here's the kicker on this, his physical profile fits exactly what Dennis Allen wants from his defensive end. He's always targeted larger defensive ends for this scheme. Let's kind of look at the history of that. Cam Jordan at 6'4" and 287. Marcus Davenport, 6'6", 265. That weight is a little low. Peyton Turner, 6'6", 270 pounds. Do I have to keep going? Dayo, we're looking at a guy that's 6'6", 285 pounds. He fits everything that Dennis Allen wants. Now, Booker can develop. We can use a high pick on possibly a really good defensive end in the draft. He can rotate in and develop. This is such a good situation, you guys. And if Dayo is what he appears to be, if he is, the next end in Chicago who could be a multiple contract player is here, and it's not an overpay. Even if he's a 6 to 7 sack guy opposite Montez Sweat, that means Montez Sweat is getting after it as well. Spot Track had him fetching up to $18 million a year. He slotted in with us at about 16-ish. So we didn't reset the market. We didn't overpay. And as guys get signed, this may once again look like a bargain in a year or two. You guys let me know what you think about the Dayo signing. What you think about Jarrett. Is he gassed? Was that a good signing to bring him onto this defensive line? But I will preface that with he's not going to be an every down player. He's going to rotate in with – we are in such a good situation. We can rotate guys in. We can come in waves. What a difference to be a Chicago Bears fan just after 1 day of free agency. You guys, thanks for always being here. Bear down. I'll be here tomorrow too, and we will chop it up in the comments. See ya.